straight up. Blackness, aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Scott, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott, radio station is the fruit. Mark Scott, straight up from the root. Mark Scott, who tell the truth? Mark Scott, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott, radio station is the fruit. Mark Scott, straight up from the root. Mark Scott, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Scott stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Scott, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott, radio station is the fruit. Mark Scott, straight up from the root. Mark Scott, who tell the truth? Mark Scott, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott, radio station is the fruit. Mark Scott, straight up from the root. Mark Scott, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Scott upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Scott, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott, radio station is the truth. Mark Scott, straight up from the root. Mark Scott, who tell the truth? Mark Scott, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Scott, radio station is the truth. Mark Scott, straight up from the root.
Yeah, my name is Jasmine Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my ex next to the cop. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Take warning, you better take warning. Take warning, you better do good. Let your light shine bright, let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should. Take warning, you better take warning. Take warning, you better do good. Let your light shine bright, let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should. The evil that men do lives after them. The evil that men do lives after them. Your evil today will blight your tomorrow. So do good today and avoid your sorrow. Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better do good. Let your light shine bright. Let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should. Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning. You better do good. Let your light shine bright. Let your light shine right. Respect your fellow man as you should. The evil that men do lives after them. The evil that men do lives after them. Your evil today will blight your tomorrow. So do good today and avoid your sorrow. Take the message, everybody. Take warning. You better take warning. Take warning.
Good evening. My name is Mark Benshap. With me tonight is Apostle London. He is with us. He is broadcasting live from his studio all the way in beautiful. Well, we can't give you his location at this point in time because we don't want you to know where in Linden he is. Oops, I just let the cat out of the bag. But Apostle London is with us this evening. And good night to all of you, wherever you are. Welcome to Straight Up.
Thank you so much to the 107.1 family and to Mr. Benchop for having me here with him. We're reading his entry into the studio, of course. And there he is.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You are in studio with us. I was saying to the folks that I'm not going to give out your location because I don't want them to know that you are actually in Linden currently. So I'm not going to tell them where you are. Apostle London is with us this evening. Hopefully later on we'll be joined by Wayne Caesar. Good evening to all of you, every single one. I can't call your names because it's too long. Golly God, to get some names out of this world. Golly God, Pamela Gurick, Brenda Casey, Ann John, Andrea, Florence, the whole crew. So True Hector, all the folks are watching. GT Singh. All these folks are watching. Some of Rajan Bim. Rajan, how are you doing? Long time no see, man. All right. And then we got Brenda Braithwaite, Brenda Casey. All the Brendas are watching us. All right. Darkus John and Carol Roberts and Cheryl Pancham and Linda Campbell. And who else? Who else is watching? Apostle London, is there somebody in the audience you want to say hi to besides Keith Beresford and Sparkling Wills and Deborah Sharona Lynch? She's always, whenever you're on, she's always all over. Anybody you want to say hi to before we get started?
Deborah's not. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Deborah, and it's so good to see you. And to all of those who are here upon invitation and who are regular visitors to or viewers, good evening to you all. Greetings and shalom.
Yeah, thank you so much, Deborah. Deborah's saying shalom, Apostle. No shalom for Mark. I don't know why, but that's okay, Deborah. Apostle, really good to see you. We got some things we want to talk about. Thank you guys for sharing the link, and let's get straight down into business. Serious business that's of concern to all Guyanese, as we would say. Apostle, let's get straight into business. These guys who want to get into business, recently we saw, I think it was the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, that plays a lot of politics. Anyways, they issued an advertisement saying that this guy Hicken, the the acting commissioner of police had applied for some, sand pit, mining, sand pit. But at today's so-called press conference, Bharat Jagdeo, the dictator of Guyana, said, no. These guys, Hicken and Brutus, ain't get nothing for get. It's not going to be approved. Nothing for them. Let them go and plant or rear chickens or something like that. What is your take on that public embarrassment of these guys by Jagdeo? I don't know. For some reason, we're not getting the Apostle. Apostle London is talking.
I am actually. I find it quite laughable that this is where they find it.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you now.
Can you hear me clearly? I know
yes,
that it's kind of distorted on my end. Excellent.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead, sir.
This is laughable to say the least. To know that we have two gentlemen, senior ranks in the Guyana Police Force, who are seeking to cash in on this aggregate. What I find also even more laughable is the way that Jagdeo would have treated this matter. And he has no qualms, and I hope that others take note that Jagdeo has no qualms in doing certain things to people who may deem themselves to be
we have some other bad connection with Apostle London. I'm not certain as to why, but we're experiencing that bad connection with Apostle Nigel London. But it is embarrassing indeed, and the way in which Jagdeo went about doing it to embarrass these guys. It's not as though we are sorry for them. Thank you, GT Singh. GT Singh is speaking for all of us here. That GT Singh said, good for them. Good for them, right? All of you guys, don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid to say it's good for them. It's good for them indeed, because after Jagdeo used them, now they're being dumped. We're going to wait Apostle London to have his side fixed. Angie Christianberg and the entire crew, good night to you. So these guys have no business. But take a listen to this, though. I don't know how many of you guys remember Silal Prasad. He was the commissioner of police then under the coalition, and then he issued a gun license, not an actual gun license, but to run a gun license business. He issued himself the application. He wrote himself the application, and he said, "Dear Commissioner of Police," talking to himself there, "I hereby apply for a gun license business," or something. Thank you so much, Mr. Commissioner of Police, for your timely manner in looking into this application. After he read the application written by him to him, he decided that he is going to approve the application. And lots of things, he's probably in business there, I don't know. Do you remember, Nigel, Apostle, do you remember when Silal Prasad was the Commissioner of Police and he wrote an application to himself to be approved by him? Do you recall that?
I do recall that, and I don't know how you remember these things. I don't know if it's better, but it seems when I'm on certain programs, this happens for some reason, some odd reason. But I do remember Silal Prasad. And even with the Hicken and Brutus' situation, it's funny because I filed applications for sand mining, and that's supposed to be under the authority of the GGMC. Now, here's where it gets interesting to me. How does this government now appear to have permission to grant license or deny them? This comes under the purview of GGMC. So something has happened in reference to what concerns aggregates, would be sand and stone, the Guyanese really don't know about. I don't know when Jagdeo has the authority to say who has license and who doesn't. That comes directly on the GGMC, but also the Ministry of Natural Resources. Jagdeo seems to be functioning every ministry in Guyana right now, which is very interesting to me.
And to publicly say that these guys, no, they're not granted. What's going on with this guy? Is it like a total dictatorship there in Guyana?
It is. It has to be because, my brother, as I said, Guyanese must understand how systems work in our country. You file an application to GGMC, then of course they would seek lands and surveys. There'd be no objection, or if there's an objection to ownership, then the client is informed or the customer is informed. But GGMC had the power to issue licenses. Suddenly I'm finding out today, finally, that Jagdio has this power. Now, mind you, we have a building boom in Guyana, right? So we know what happens with sand and stone, what we call aggregates. So they understand the power of having a sand pit. And now they want to control who gets it. May I also inform the Guyanese public that for the highway that from Splashman's area coming further to about Yarracarba, thereabout, let me inform all y'all, there's only one African Guyanese who owns a sand pit, has a sand pit license. A single person. All the other pits you know about are owned by Indo-Guyanese, but they're not discriminatory, are they?
No, that's probably balance. It's probably, and hopefully Brutus and Hicken, regardless of what they have done for the corrupt PPP regime, that is the thank you they got. But it's good for them. Remember, Henry Green owned a mining concession also, and then you get Silal Prasad and his gun license business, his gun business, and all these manner of things. And then there were some other commissioner of police that had their stuff under the PPP regime. But why do you suppose Jagdio is suddenly targeting this little guy, this short guy, Hicken? Why do you suppose he basically embarrassed Hicken and Brutus like this today? I mean, we are all happy, but why?
Right. There has to be some thing afoot here. And because Jagdio doesn't normally do those things to people without cause. So we're yet to find out. Maybe it could be that they're both about to be kicked out of the force unceremoniously. Who knows? I hate speculating where certain individuals are concerned, because it stretches my imagination to points whereby I would not like to go. But there's something really afoot here, and maybe we'll hear tomorrow that he can, or a few days from now, he resigns or he just quits, because Jagdio would not do that to people, at least two of them, I should say, under normal circumstances. Two at one blow, as they would say.
You know, I'm not sure he would have been able to do that with guys like Larry Lewis, who wasn't really a good friend of mine, but
no,
Larry Lewis was in a different category than these guys.
Exactly. He won't try it with Larry.
I don't know, but nobody's laughing. Nobody's sad about this situation with Hicken. But let's head over to the court now. Almost 4 years, these guys, they have their matters there in the court. It's languishing. They're being persecuted. But yet, Jagdio now, knowing very well that this is it is a politically motivated charges against these guys. There's no evidence, and there is more evidence pointing that Jagdio, his party, the PPP, they're the ones who rigged the elections. But here's what he's saying: magistracy, frustrating the will of the people. What is the will of the people when the PPP stole an entire elections, denying the people the will of the people, are right? And then they basically trumped up these charges against these three and other persons, cannot give them a proper day in court so that they can be exonerated. These brilliant people can get their jobs, whether outside or inside of Guyana. Your take on this, please, Apostle.
Thank you, my brother. And this is even, I mean, this is what I would take very seriously. To know that Jagdio, after 4 years, is still seeking to suggest that the three in frame here are to be held culpable for whatever it is. And yet he cannot say, with the same breath, that they are prepared to have the matters regarding the petitions be heard. Now, my question has remained for 4 years. If the PPP is so innocent, who in their right mind will be totally innocent of something and refuse for the court to hear or prove that APNU FC rigged the election, or these three people? Further to that, I remember, I think it was Hanuman who said that he can find 700 witnesses. I think it was Hanuman. He can find 700 witnesses to show that Mingo rigged the election. To this day, I have not heard from one. But Hanuman is free to practice. And these are things
not only haven't we heard one. He did say about 700 and something witnesses, but we haven't heard from Hanuman since.
Correct. So, that's what I'm saying. And yet he's allowed to remain in the bar. So what are we really doing here? How can an attorney suggest that he can find 700 people to prove that APNU or Mingo rigged an election? And he can't find one, and he hasn't come forward to say, listen, he hasn't come forward to say, well, I've been wrong, or I misspoke. Nothing. He simply
Yeah,
just carried on his merry way to the detriment of someone's character. This is 4 years, just about, almost 4 years. And we cannot have a day in court for Lowenfield, Myers, and Mingo. More so, we cannot hear the PPP saying, this is the evidence. That's all Guyanese are waiting to see. Where is the evidence? Now, don't suggest anything else to me, because as far as I'm concerned, I maintain that Claudia Singh should be among this, should be the head of this list, dealing with this matter, because she had enough authority to deal with this way it should have been dealt with.
You know, this Apostle London, I agree with you. These folks, this should not be happening to them at all. 4 years now and nothing. They're playing with these people's lives. They're playing with these people's future. And Jagdeo has no shame. Now, with regards to Hanuman and what he said, many folks would remember that Hanuman, right at this same headquarters, he turned to 3 female police ranks and he said, hey, when Irfan Ali, when the PPP gets into office, they will deal with you guys. I wonder what happened to those 3 female police women. I really wonder what happened to them. Those police women, sorry.
I remember that. Sorry, I remember that vividly, and I would love to know what happened to them. But I would also like to know what is the will of the people that Jagdeo and Irfan Ali speak to, as you rightly asked. Because at that Ashmin's building, the will of the people, according to law, was supposed to be heard in a court. That's what I'm concerned. That's my concern. Let's go to court. Let's follow the procedures regarding the law, and let's have a petition heard. Of course, that's not for me called water under the bridge. That's serious. That's a breach of our constitution. And Jagdeo now is saying that the magistracy should accept that 3 people who, if they were petitioned a matter being heard in the court, they would have to answer by now. But he has refused for us to get to that stage. Have Lowenfield in this position. He has Mingo in this position. Myers in this position. And now we are hearing from Jagdeo that he's even against the judiciary now. So the judiciary must support the PPP's claim. When the PPP failed to show us in a court of law, how did APNU AFC rig this election? But we're getting to a very tricky period in our country's history where I can understand that the PPP, after 4 years, cannot sanitize the voters list, cannot fix it. They can't do that. And further to that, after 4 years, the PPP cannot name for me 3 Indo-Guyanese officers in electoral processes who would have been involved in anything that's nefarious. Now you have it on the screen. Dead voters, absent voters, ballot boxes. The 47 always stand out to me because I know from working with GCOM that you have statutory documents. Where are they? Those officers are not before the court. We have 3 who are used by the PPP to say these are the faces who tried to rig an election. Well, time is an amazing enemy of those who are wicked. And we've seen over 4 years, I said it, that they could never prove Mingo, Myers, or Lowenfield guilty because they refused to do what was basically right, which is have Claudia Singh summons Mingo before the commission and have him address the statements of Paul there. They couldn't do that either because no would have happened. This is a tragedy and a travesty for this country to know that one man in Jagdeo could be allowed for so long to perform what he did. And I would like to say further, Mr. Benchtrop, that I remember Jagdeo issuing a treasonous threat to this nation that if they don't get their way, he will make Guyana ungovernable. I cannot understand to this day how he's still a free man and why he's still alive according to our laws. That's a threat to the sovereignty of our nation, to the sanctity of this nation. He should not have been a free man after that day. Never.
Never indeed. If you're now joining us, Apostle London is with us. And what is so funny is that they're saying that the electoral laws, section 142, which speaks of any prosecution, that if someone is being prosecuted as a result of whatever works there at GCOM, that those matters or that particular matter cannot be revealed in court. I guess that is what Nigel used that is arguing. That say, hey, wait a minute. What do you mean? And if we go to that section, here it is, yeah. Section 142, it says in any prosecution, under this act, whether on indictment or summarily, the certificate of the chief elections officer that the election was duly held and that the person or persons named therein were named as candidate, blah, 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 blah. They're saying that shall be sufficient evidence of the facts therein stated. So in any prosecution, whether indictment or so, they're basically saying it is a matter for GCOM. And this, whatever evidence, cannot be presented to the court. What sort of nonsense is that, Apostle?
It's an atrocity, because I, years ago, of course, said, okay, that's why I kept saying it, Claudette Singh, you should be in jail, if you ask me, because she had full authority, according to what they want to present to me now, to call anybody to say, let us have this clarified. She never once summons the commissioners to have Mingo or anybody else before to say, let's deal with this matter. Why did she not do it? That's what I want to know. Because if she knew, she should know as a chair, okay, if we get to court, certain things that cannot be disclosed. I cannot agree with that law, ever. It doesn't make any sense to me as a Guyanese. Because if they drag the chief elections officer in Lowenfield to court, let us hear then. That's what I'm saying. Present to us the facts. 4 years and you can't present us the facts yet?
But GCOM's law should not supersede the Constitution for one to have what is called a free and fair trial.
Fair.
How could they have a free and fair trial when an agency is saying that, look, it's not the law of the land, it's their policy.
No.
And hopefully, go ahead.
Sorry. And we have a former judge sitting as the chairman of GCOM, the woman, who cannot say to anybody with common sense that the constitution of any nation supersedes any other law. And that was the same thing with article nonsense, that is 60-40, whatever it is. I had an issue with that from then, because I kept arguing we cannot have anything that supersedes our constitution, lest the constitution loses its weight and its power. She should know that. So why would she have this knowledge? She would have ruled on a matter before, remember that? She ruled on a petition matter before.
She ruled on a 1997 petition and she vitiated that election
exactly.
in 2020 and 2000, late 2000, and that caused an elections to be held in March of 2001.
Correct.
And but let's take and she should know that. But
she
in
knows.
my opinion, she's playing games. She's playing games, but her conscience, we can look at her face, her conscience is beating her. Now, this is what a king's counsel, right? He was a queen's counsel, Darshan Ramdani, who was a little lawyer back in my trumped up treason case, couldn't even argue a treason case properly, disappeared, went into the Caribbean and came back now with a title as king's counsel. Well, queen's counsel, the queen died, so he's now king's counsel. And this is what the special prosecutor, Darshan Ramdani, has to say. He says he's leading the state's evidence in the case, argued that Section 142 of the Representation of the People's Act prohibits the disclosure of the documents. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God. This is unimaginable, honestly speaking. I don't know when we would be able to get to a normal Guyana again, honestly speaking, because it gets worse by the day. How can a special prosecutor not know the basics law regarding constitutional law? This is ordinary common sense here. And I'm saying again that we have a former judge in Claudette Singh who's allowing this nonsense to continue to be spewed all the time. The mockery of the people, I call this. The mockery of the state. This is an embarrassment. How can anyone tell me that the Representation of the People Act supersedes the Constitution? And how could then Lowenfield have, or Mingo, or anybody have a fair trial if you're saying that whatever is at GCOM's, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? It doesn't come out of Vegas. It can't leave Vegas in GCOM. What are we doing on again?
You know what this reminds me, Apostle? Sorry, but during my trumped up treason trial, there was a then acting crime chief by the name of Leon Trim, who walked over to a rabbit walk to meet with the then DPP, Dennis Hanuman.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Hanuman apparently whispered something to him. He came back into the court. The then Chief Magistrate, Juliet Holder Allen, asked a simple question to the then acting crime chief, Leon Trim. What was the advice they received from the acting DPP, Dennis Hanuman, as it relates to the treason charge. What? Because what the defense lawyer, my defense lawyer, they got wind of is that the DPP never recommended charges of treason against me. Never. And so that is why the defense lawyer wanted to corner the acting crime chief. The acting crime chief said in court that he is not allowed to disclose that, period. Now you are there, you receive advice from a DPP chambers concerning a man's life, a man's freedom. And you're saying that you are not allowed to give whatever details that the advice that the DPP chambers gave to him is considered lawyer-client relationship, and therefore it is confidential. So this, I just brought that up because I remember exactly. And Darshan Ramdani was one of the little lawyers representing the state then in persecuting me. And so here it is, he's back again with the same nonsense. I just thought I just remember these guys.
I'm happy that you did, because I'm familiar with that situation. I'm happy that you did, because many things that surrounded your incarceration up until this day can never make sense to any sensible Guyanese. And I also have an issue, and this is just from my perspective, with the state failing to duly repay you for what you've lost and what you've suffered. Because for me, those behind this whole scenario here should not be free men. I'm just maybe Ali suggested I'm an extremist, but I'm not going to play with that. They should not be allowed to walk freely every day, given what they have done to you, deliberately, knowing what the facts are. And so even in this situation here, we have an election petition. Mingo, Lowenfield, Myers are going through, years of the image being smeared. And I'm saying, let us have this ventilated publicly, because if you say that the whole world saw, the people like to say that the whole world saw going to try to steal an election, well, let the whole world see whatever they have to say. That's what I'm saying. Let the whole world see the evidence.
They don't want the whole world to see. Remember, they started off with the SOPs. Show me your SOPs. I don't know how come we didn't sing a Mashramani or Calypso, or show me your SOP, show me your something like that. And they're done with that. They're no longer interested in the SOPs.
No.
They're no longer interested in the elections petition. They're the ones who fought for the elections petitions not to be heard. I hope their supporters, the few supporters that they have still with them, are watching. These are the same people in the PVP. Jack Dale and them do not want the SOPs to be open. They do not want the elections petitions to be. We know why. This real apostle, this guy Jack Dale, again, he's talking about magistracy frustrating the will of the people. But the PPP and Jack Dale, they are frustrating democracy and the will of the people. So now, if he wants justice for these people, what about what is it? Sue said. Serious allegations of corruption. The people want justice. Jack Dale should understand that the people want to know whether the allegations made by Sue are correct or not. What about the $214 million from Exxon? The $214 million that the auditor said that has gone missing. Where is that money, Jack Dale? That is what the people want to hear. Guyanese people want to hear that.
US dollars.
Yep, US dollars. And then he has the nerve to say about the will of the people. Give us a break, Jack Dale. Go and I don't know. But let's get to this here. It gets a little sweeter, Apostle. Let's take a look at this. You're right to laugh. Rastaman on his phone, frustrated, say, hey, we waste time. People went down to Freedom House because Freedom House was just giving out a little cash grant to their own supporters. These people got wind of that. They went in front of Freedom House and they were turned away. They were chased. Look, Rastaman, vex. The other folks there vex. Your take on this cash grant. Come to the party headquarters and we're going to give you all cash. And not only the party headquarters, Apostle, they go to schools and so forth. Look what they walk around with. Cash.
Money. Liquid cash.
2024. Talk about this, sir. Talk about
liquid cash. And the Attorney General, the Auditor General, as a matter of fact, would have spoken to this, of course, into thin air, because he can't say anything that can make this administration act sensibly. This is the easiest way to defraud the people of this country. Even I'm going to say the state, but I want Guyana to understand me clearly tonight. The easiest way for you to be defrauded by any group is what you see on the screen to be happening here. And when I look at the Freedom House image as well, if you can put that back for us, something troubled me with this image, Mr. Benchchop, with the people in front of Freedom House. Look at the ethnic composition of that group. This is very serious here. Look at the main ethnicity of this crowd. You would notice something here. If we are the richest country in the world per individual, why are we seeing this? Why would Guyanese in the city be rushing to a political party's headquarters for money? If we're doing so well as Jagdeo wants to suggest, and Ifan wants to suggest, and Ashley Singh wants to suggest, that we really don't have an issue in terms of how the standard of living, why would Guyanese of African descent mainly be rushing there? Show me the son of one of the PPP friends in this crowd. Show me the daughter, the wife, the mother, the brother. Show me one of the friends of the PPP in this crowd. So if we don't have friends and lackeys and cronies and puppets of the PPP in this gathering, then it tells me that they have no need to be there. So let's have a very serious discussion, Guyanese. Why would you see this image here, broad daylight, in Robb Street, in front of a political party's headquarters, if we're the richest country in the world? Why would you see this? And then why would you see in another image $5,000 bills, we call them Granger, millions of dollars being doled out by the hands of those of the Auditor General said this is poor practice when it comes to auditing, because it gives the auditors a headache. Look at what we see in our country.
They don't care about that poor practice. All they care about is hustle, 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 hustle. Jagdeo and the PPP. That's all they're about. Hustle, 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 hustle. We have Wayne Caesar with us now. Wayne, good night and welcome. Let's get your take, sir, on this here. Your brief take on this here and the fact that the PPP chased these people away. Good night, sir. Don't know what's going on. Good night, Mr. Caesar. Can we get your comment, please, on this? Can you hear us? I don't know. You came on Apostle Wi-Fi, and now Wayne Caesar came on with half G Wi-Fi. I'm the only one operating with 5G here.
Correct.
The only one. Okay, so let's continue. The fact that the PPP chased these people away, chased them, and then Jagdeo has the audacity now to say, well, he has no shame, that it's the APNU supporters, and if they go to APNU office, APNU has nothing to offer them, and all manner of nonsense. Your take on what really, and how embarrassing and disrespectful it is to these people.
It is embarrassing. And he was saying that this is a hoax that APNU would have created. The point is that the people went to the headquarters of the PPP knowing that that's where the money is flowing from, apparently in the people's mind. They won't go if they don't think money is there to be had. But I know of situations here in Linden, and it's important for us to note this, right here in Linden, where agents of the PPP, councillors are calling people and others say, listen, y'all come and get some money here. They're making phone calls to specific people to go for grants. And word gets so then other people rush here to find out that this is not for you, you can't get it. So like to me, can never get it. Because they're now saying, oh, you criticize the PPP, you talk against us, you have nothing to get. That is happening in Region 10. I can tell you that. They're instructed as to whom should receive monny. So if people hear something like the Freedom House, they run for it.
All over it's happening. Region 10, Region 6, all over it's happening. And it just so happened that they get caught. The PPP got caught. Look, Rastaman vex. Rastaman is on his phone, said, Yes, in he's vexed. I'm not making mockery of the Rasta brother, but he's vexed. Anyone would be vexed. I'm just assuming that he probably went down there. The brother could just be walking by there, and then this other lady rode her bicycle. Look at the bicycle. It didn't even get brakes. Shame on the PPP. Shame on them. Speaking of shame on them, I want you to listen to this, doctor, because if they could call your friend a doctor, call Jack a doctor.
Oh, please.
Might as well call you a doctor too, doctor. But Apostle, I want you to take a listen to this. I gotta laugh because it's something that we should all laugh about. All of us should laugh about. Let's go.
From the parties. In a video, leader of the ANOG, Benjamin, stated that Kissoon was supposed to resign since November 2023 after occupying the seat for 91 days, but had asked to stay a bit longer, extending her tenure until February 29, 2024. At a press conference yesterday, he elaborated.
Dr. Kissoon then took up that seat in Parliament, in which she was only supposed to be there for an allocated time of 91 days. She then asked for a little bit more time up to December, and Anu had agreed to this. Come February, when February 29th deadline came out, Dr. Kissoon had given us an agreement that she will be removing herself, resigning from the seat at that point in time. This, unfortunately, was not what was agreed upon, as I had mentioned earlier, originally. Unfortunately, at this point in time, set off a few other processes.
He stated that she verbally stated that she will not be resigning on February 29th, since she has things to do and to get completed in Parliament.
When that time came recently and passed, it was then decided upon by Congress executive that, well, it seems as though Ms. Kissoon, which verbally let us know that she will not be resigning. At this point in time, Congress executive then decided, well, we have to ensure that the public knows what's going on, and we have to be as transparent and accountable as possible. And here we are today. It's been now about a week after the 29th of February, which again is still about 4 months or so past this between that time. Unfortunately, we've had to come to these circumstances now to inform the public of what is going on.
Jabor described Dr. Kissoon as sitting in.
So he is saying that they now come to the public so that the public can have an understanding and the public could help us. The public's not going to help you guys. The public laughing you guys. The public is saying good for you guys. Why these people now coming to the people? Jack, they're coming to the people as it pertains to persecuting Lowenfield, Roxanne Myers, and Mingo and others. Now these people coming to the people, y'all help us. Look what she's doing to us. Good for them, man. Look, let me hear your take on it, sir.
Why would you do something like this tonight? Listen, I keep telling you, I cannot believe that our country is so, it's so far gone, honestly speaking. I know people say if you don't laugh, you cry. This is crazy. First of all, how could we have a deputy speaker in Schumann? Let's start with that. How could he even, this man cannot even garner 5,000 votes. But he could be in the House of Assembly and have authority to rule in the absence of the speaker.
But 1 second, please, Apostle.
Sure.
These folks said not a word about that. That the main opposition is the APNU AFC coalition. They're the ones who should have been occupying the deputy speakership.
Of course.
They were silent on that. Now and all other things they were silent about. They never once did anything on behalf of the Guyanese people in that parliament. But now they're coming to the people and say, hey, we want y'all here, what's going on? Shame on them. Shame on them.
Shame indeed.
Yeah.
And that's why I started with that. Because if they had any good intention, they would have addressed it from then. To know that this is parliamentary malpractice, it was a gross disrespect to the opposition. And they sat there and allowed it to the main opposition. They allowed it to happen. So now, what can ANOG, a new United Guyana, make me say to remove Kissoon? The woman says she has things to do. It's funny. She has things to do.
She got things
business
to
take care of. For whom? for 200 people?
Here the thing is again, Apostle. She submitted her resignation and they rescinded it. They said, no, take a little extra. So good for them. And
Good.
the thing is now, they have no leader of the list. So no one could recall her. Because
None.
remember, it's a joiner party. They got in there. They have no lead of the list. They're headless. And this woman now decided she got in there and she got a taste of power. She got things to do. She got unfinished business to take care. I don't know. She got soup to drink, probably, maybe.
Oh my goodness! But the funny part to me is when the guy said that they come into the public to make us informed. To do how many of us? How many of us you want to tell about this situation?
Not me.
Oh,
how many of you guys care about these people and their problems? This is not a Guyanese problem. This is not a Guyana problem. This problem doesn't affect all Guyanese. No, it doesn't. Just maybe one or two. They have never represented Guyanese. They have not. They have not. So what they got is what you call karma.
And what they need to do is to go back to a press conference with Jack Dio. Remember with the election fiasco? Go back, sit with Jack Dio at her table and let Jack Dio tell her to move. You can do that because I remember exactly what you all did when we were all calling for let's have the petitions heard. Let's deal with this matter. You trying to convince her to move? Move, go away.
I want to take us back to the part where he's begging the people, the public. Oh, you help me now, please. Help me now, remove shit, please. Oh, public, you man, you crazy? Come on, hear this, please, sir.
She's not representing any constituent.
I believe that it's a call for all Guyanese to step up at this point in time and understand that this soon is sitting in this parliament.
He's calling on all Guyanese. Wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. Where's our operator? Let these guys get an award. They deserve an award right there. This guy is saying, let the public, let the people step up and know and help. No. We'll be right back. Good for them. Good for them. They have not served in the best interest of the public. They voted all times in favor of the PPP. They supported in the seat of deputy speaker from Schumann to this Asha or whatever her name is. That is what they have done. And this other person here, what is so funny about this? Which one of them there you think would be occupying the seat? Kisun is not coming off. That's it. She's not coming off. Who you think, if she decides that she's going to come off, will get that seat? Who you think?
Well, Timothy or Josh would fight for that position now. There'll be another war because Ralph Ramprana, I guess he won't want to be deputy speaker. No, that's interesting to know.
The black girl, the African Guyanese girl sitting there, young lady, sitting there. She's the one, Miss King. And that could also be the reason why the PPP doesn't want her there. Because so let me hear your take on it. Go ahead, sir.
Now it gets interesting. Because I thought it would have been Kanai or Timothy Jonas, but they would not want to have her as deputy speaker. And that's the embarrassment for Guyanese. What gives Anok or anyone in this joining party the right to sit in the seat or the chair of the deputy speaker of the House of Assembly? How many votes did they garner to be the second in command of the House of Assembly in terms of maintaining order and decency? What are we really doing? What has become of our country? When the PB can accept such garbage, I also want to take note and let Guyanese please remember that even when the Natural Resources Fund, our oil monies they are calling, when that act was being rushed and tossed all around the place in Parliament, these people did not fight for Guyanese. Let's remember that, please. Let's remember.
And they have not done so since when they got in there, the 2nd of August 2020. They have not done so. They sat in that seat. Look at Schumann. He's out now. He's starting an airline business now. I hope nobody supports that airline business. You see? And look, and what's his name? This senior council guy that's sitting there, Jonah. During the coalition, when they gave out silk to a couple of the lawyers Roysdale Ford and a couple of others and so forth. This guy was vexed. And he filed an injunction. He filed a court order against those who had gotten silk. Because he vexed. And then when the PPP got into office, guess who became senior counsel? Timothy Jonas. And these are the guys who could tell us that they care about Guyana? They've got to be kidding me. Paul Gill, you know we don't do that on this program, but we allow that to slip because you're Linden, man. Paul Gill said, oh, you know, Guyanese are ready. Good night to you, Paul. Now let's move away from these comics. They should go to the National Cultural Center. But what is so funny though, Apostle, apart from the fact that I told you you'll be on for 30 minutes, what is so funny is that this guy is saying, please, public, y'all help me, know. Y'all help me. Wait, let's go back to that, man. Hear this guy.
And this soon is sitting in this parliamentary seat.
Dr. Kissoon is sitting in the parliamentary seat as illegally. She's not representing any constituent.
I believe that it's a call for all Guyanese to step up at this point in time and understand that Ms. Kissoon is sitting in this parliamentary seat illegally.
The guy said it's about time all Guyanese to step up. I know it's a serious program, but all Guyanese to step up and fight for them? Hold on a second, please, Apostle. 1 second, please, Apostle. Please. 1 second. We got to do it again. Not me. Not I know about you, but almost all the listeners in stepping up and fight for them.
No.
Now, I want to take you to another location. I want you to view this, and then I'll get your comment. It's about the Guyana Public Service Co-op Credit Union.
Oh, boy.
Take a look at this. The behavior of the management team that got kicked out and voted out by the people, the credit union members. Take a look at this.
People wicked. Any time at all, the wickedness can come out, but it just depends on when them choose, bro.
Describe that scene, please, Apostle.
Disgusting, horrifying, an embarrassment to any Guyanese and to trade unionism. Disgraceful, despicable, to some extent, insane. Because I cannot see any two females of sound minds operating in this manner, especially after what is considered to be a democratic process. What was there to be gained? I could say for sure that when I saw the actions of this committee with Trevor Ben the first time, I knew, and it tastes like the PPP's work. It tastes like them at work, undermining in some way, because there's no way that we behave in this manner under normal circumstances. There's no way that people can vote overwhelmingly for someone, and then you have this being presented to us. And I was embarrassed, to say the least. Further, I say that these people weren't jumping on any desk to come out to support teachers. I took note of that. They didn't jump to say, well, 6.5 can't work. We need to deal with this matter. They didn't do that either. But because they were now removed, democratically so, this is what we saw. I have never dreamt that I could see this in my 50 years on this earth. Honestly speaking, Guyana is a cesspool at this time, a latrine pit when it comes to morality and decency. And that you saw, a female climbing on a table in the name of retaining power. Now, come on.
Despicable indeed. Your take on this here now.
How we gonna do a body man walk right now? You ready? Fuck, so let me go now. Hear me sing now. Body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body walk, truck, body walk, body walk, body walk, everything. Body, listen. Body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Body jump, body jump, body jump, body jump, everything. Hear me sing, so big body can't wear it tight pants.
What's going on in Guyana, please, from top all the way on the top there? What's going on in Guyana, sir?
Well, I see Marshall Montano there, so them have just been a cough of some sort. But at the end of the day, and whenever I see Marshall Montano here, I get upset for this reason. Irfan Ali, apparently that's his friend, as he said. So we don't have Guyanese artists who are capable of being paid with Marshall is paid. Marshall is paid. And we bring this guy here. Ali gets on stage, parties at our expense. That's it comes to. But for somebody to make a sound with Godi dance, they call it, I mean that people have lost all respect for anyone called head of state, as far as I'm concerned. And Ali doesn't, in my view, deserve a high regard from anybody. He has given away our lands. Remember, 50,000 to Bajans, 100,000 I heard to some Indian group of people. When the Swami came here, he got how many acres committed to them. Ali has failed to appoint very, very critical commissions like the Judicial Commission. He has failed to do so in 4 years. Ali has failed when we were supposed to have the Public Procurement Commission. He didn't do that. The Demar Harbor Bridge, New Bridge, as they talk about, the contract was signed off with no commission being appointed by Irfan Ali. But he could be on stage whining all the time at our expense, though. So this fellow is. There are times when I try my best to contain myself when I'm on your broadcast because I don't want them to speak badly about my friend. But this guy is an absolute waste of our time, and he should not be paid $1 other dollar. To be serious, he's just a complete waste of my time. And let's not forget that he can't speak well, he cannot read well. He is semi-literate, but being paid to be president.
Can't speak well, can't govern well. Somebody's saying that the PPP has their Congress next month, and Jagdeo is contesting again to remain as the General Secretary of the PPP. They haven't held Congress since 2016.
Let it be known.
I heard some 2016, yes, possible, but people even within the PPP are concerned that this upcoming Congress, where Jagdeo is contesting again, they are concerned that it may be rigged in favor of Jagdeo. What is your take on two things? One, that he has sat there since 2016 without any elections, no democracy in the PPP, and the fact that people around him are accusing him of already rigging the system.
Well, I must say that if for 8 years, Jagdeo could sit as the General Secretary, and I find it alarming, my brother, that Guyanese do not know, at home and abroad in many cases, that Jagdeo is the head of the PPP. I don't know how Guyanese function like that. And I'm talking about PPP supporters. PPP supporters are telling me that Irfan Ali is the head of the party, and I said, you have to be kidding me. You Guyanese don't understand Jagdeo's role in the PPP. And to know that for 8 years, this man who talked about democracy and being a champion of democracy couldn't hold a council for there to be a proper, fair election of the leader tells me much about Jagdeo. So if Jagdeo refused over 8 years to hold any election to determine who should lead the party, tell me why should Guyanese trust him in a general election process or a regional electoral process? Jagdeo has, in my view, based on what I'm seeing with the party here, the intention to retain power for as long as he breathes. And when I look at this carefully, there's no one in the PPP this time who would be prepared to deal with this man the way he should be dealt with. Because I would like to think that given the track record of many, they can't step forward to point one finger in his face. And that's unfortunate, especially at the helm. They can't say to him, because of you're dealing with Sue, and that matter, you need to leave. Who would try that? Which one of them has the decency and the slate, as they say in law, the clean hands to do that?
That's the question. Let's move as we prepare to close off now. The teachers being asked to come off the streets and head into the table to negotiate. Your take on this negotiation process? Are you optimistic of a good outcome?
No, I'm not, because it should not have been happening in the first place. I'm of the view, strongly so, Mr. Benchtrap, that the teachers should have not have come off the street until there's a commitment for certain things to be done. Number one, there should have been a commitment, a rescinding of this whole threat that they're going to have their pay cut. Because people shouldn't work under duress, and to lose 1 month's salary is not easy. Secondly, there should be a definite time frame for negotiations. I don't know what is reasonable time. I don't understand what that means, unless the judge says you have 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, and that's called reasonable. Further, I say that Saddam Hussein, and I have nothing personal against Saddam, but Saddam is incapable of negotiating anything on behalf of the administration. What did he do? He ran to them today. I can't deal with this, he ran away. Because Saddam Hussein knows that he cannot honestly speak for the well-being of teachers in this country. He cannot in terms of finances. He wouldn't even try it, because he'd be gone within the day. And so I am not optimistic about this process. I believe that Mark Light acted in a manner that at the latter part of this strike that really injured his posture in the union, because he should have told the judge or sought from the judge the opportunity to consult with teachers who are on the road and say, what should we do? Should we return? Do you want us to return now at this time? What should we do here? Because this process today, the first day, the PP showed us that they are unprepared to even address salary from 2021 to 23. Much less now. They have no intention of paying teachers anything that's fair and honest and upright, because they don't have respect for people. I would like to inform Guyanese and remind you, those of you who do not know, that the PPP is the enemy of the public service. They hate public servants. They are have always proven to be friends with the private sector. They do not see public servants as being critical to the engine of this economy. And we have to stop them in this process of seeking to destroy our public service and unions that represent those people. So Mark Light and the GTU should not have been there. That's my honest conviction. Because for one, I maintain that this woman here, Priya Marichan, should have been gone before any teacher comes out of the street. If I were teaching, I'd stand and shout on the mountaintop. If she doesn't go, and Saddam do not go based on what he did when the judge said maintain the status quo, and he decided he's going to take people's names. If the two of them didn't go, I would not go back to class. And that's what Mark should have come to teachers to find out. On what conditions do you want to return? And he could have told the judge, well, I represent a body of teachers, thousands of them who said they'll only return on certain conditions. That's the right thing to do. Not to say that sharing out of class and there's learning loss, as I think Loku said, the judge, so let's have them back in school. It doesn't work like that. Because there's a cause as to why the teachers went out in public. Let's address the cause. That's what we needed to do. Now, Priya is sitting in the seat and she has Saddam talking to Mark Light. But she didn't go to talk. Saddam must represent the government in salary negotiations. Saddam, of all people, what qualifies him to sit in that chair? What process did he go through to sit in that chair? And what confidence can teachers have in him sitting in that chair to negotiate their salaries? That's what we have to ask ourselves.
So he left on that note to say that he has to consult with his superiors because he cannot make a decision or even talk about a salary increase. And the other thing that they have done, instead, they've gone all the way back to 2017 to negotiate 2017, 2018, and 19. And at his press conference today, Jack Dale, of course, playing the silly dotish politics, saying, well, look what we have to do. We have to go all the way back to the coalition time to negotiate salaries for them there. So he's playing the blame game. And while publicly saying that they are not going to budge on any salary increase. So why then did the teachers come off the streets? What's the mood like with teachers in Linden, Apostle?
It's not good. And I checked in with some of them. I made it my duty to check in with them yesterday. to find out how are things, how do you feel, and it is the you see, we have to be honest as people to know that in the back of my mind lies the possible deduction of 4 weeks wage is nothing to play with. And we must, as a people, be honest and upright when it speaks how we deal with each other. The teachers had a just cause because the administration refused to engage in collective bargaining according to the Constitution, not according to anybody's desire. According to the law, they refused to engage our teachers in collective bargaining. And then Jagdeo, Saddam Hussein, and others threatened Nandalal and others that they intend to cut the teachers' salaries. All of those who are not at school, they'll cut your pay. The teachers in Linden who were out there are very uncomfortable in the light of these circumstances because the condition under which we stood in Linden was that we are going to get what we want before we return. And I'm saying we because I'm a parent involved in this. We were supposed to get certain things before we go back. Not change our mind halfway through the process and week out, as you say in Linden, chicken out. No, we're going to stand our ground because we got support from the boat operators. The captains used to shut down the ferry service after a while and come out to support teachers. Taxi drivers came out in Linden. Parents came out in Linden. Children came out in Linden. Vendors came out in Linden. Some of them came, brought bananas and so on just to support the teachers, only to discover that we have an agreement to return in an era of uncertainty. So it's not good for Linden. And my hope is that GTU wins for the sake of trade unionism. My hope is that you win. But my projection is more than likely to be back on the street soon because Saddam cannot do anything for you and PPP will never give you what you ask for.
So do you think even if it comes to another chance of the teachers hitting the streets again, that they are going to come out in their numbers?
I think that they will. And I think they will because they understand now the nature of the demons they deal with. And that's the only thing. Not because of Mark Light. They'll return this time if they can see through the process that the administration refuses to honor their requirements for better living. They would not come because of Mark Light. And I would not encourage them to come out on the conditions whereby Mark Light makes any decision without consultation. So for them to return to the street, he must have in writing that he would not make any decision without consultation, because we're not doing this again. We can't take this risk again because this is the last straw for some of these teachers.
And it's certainly not going to get anywhere. Let's take a look at this here. This is a statement by the Ministry of Education. Sorry about that, guys. By the Ministry of Education. And it's saying here, Apostle and others, it's saying here that this statement, public statement, misleading article or articles by Demerara Waves and News Source.
Mm-hmm.
It says here, the Ministry of Education has noted the articles Teachers Union Education Ministry agree to multi-year period for salary hikes and salary negotiations for teachers to cover 2019 to 2023 period, end of quote, by Demerara Waves Online. And they're saying that these articles convey the false impression. What more do you guys need to hear?
What more?
What more do you guys need to know? Apostle?
What more? These people have no intention whatsoever, none, of addressing anything that's significant in terms of the increase of wages for teachers. I'm promising you that. They wouldn't do it. So the teachers were saying that they're not going to go back unless things are signed, because that is a reality I told them they're going to face. That right there. So they were tricked to some extent, if you ask me, to return to the classroom before Easter break comes. That's what happened. They were coerced to some extent to go back.
And I agree with you. They were tricked into doing that, unfortunately. And we're not seeing some powerful negotiators within the group. And this is not to knock them. We're not seeing heavyweights there at all. No heavyweight lawyer. No shades there. But we really need those sort of things. What is your take, though? Yesterday's news that, well, this is Sandel Kisoon, seemed to be doing the right thing for the teachers and for a cause, a just cause. He's doing his job. It says here, Justice Kisoon grants approval for GTUC to join the teachers. In other words, they should all be part of the negotiation. Not part of the negotiation, sorry, but to join in the struggle. What is your take on that?
I cannot have enough words or find them to be thankful to Justice Kissoon for being at least one soul that's left in this country who understands the system we deal with, who understands the spirit of our laws and what should be. Imagine a judge has to grant the GTUC, the Trade Union Congress, the umbrella union, the right to join a case. When the union couldn't join the teachers on the street, the judge says you're supposed to be supporting, in essence, Guyanese. Let me break it down for you. Justice Kissoon is saying to them, you should be together in this whole fight. We didn't see GTUC, the Trade Union Congress on the street.
That's
tells them you should be there.
One sec, we saw the leadership of the Guyana Trades Union Congress in the streets with the teachers. What we didn't see was the GPSU out there at all.
The GPSU, correct. Because the GTUC is, the umbrella union. We didn't see members in reference to the GPSU coming out. Patrick Yard took one finger and put it back out to the water. This judge is showing us how trade unionism should function. You have an umbrella union that represents multiple unions. You all be together in this fight, in this struggle. The hint in my heart and the hope in my heart is for Justice Kissoon to demonstrate to all Guyanese that trade unionism will not die in our country because it's enshrined in our laws. Patrick Yard should be removed in an instant because this decision by Justice Kissoon proves that GPSU had a right to be involved and had a right to, at least at this time, lend their physical beings to this struggle. I would like to say as well that the GTUC, apart from joining in this case, they should have had greater calls made, meetings had, whatever you have to do for all of your unions on the umbrella to come out and to strategically dismantle this regime in reference to the whole stranglehold on trade unionism and the working class in Guyana. This is the time. So I'm certainly grateful for Justice Kissoon. I look forward to his rulings. I look forward to him being protected, I should say, by Guyanese, because we need the likes of him in our society today. We do.
And I agree with you. Indeed, it reminds me of when Claudette Singh made a ruling when she was a judge and vitiated the elections in 1997. She became the biggest enemy of Barrett Jack Dale. She could have been Chief Justice and so forth. But even when she became chairman of Guyana Elections Commission, she was threatened with deaths and all manner of things. She named a businessman a so-called businessman who threatened her life or who wanted to pay for her to be assassinated, all manner of things. But Apostle London and all of our listeners, we're looking at that time. And I know a lot of people might be going out and hanging somewhere in Guyana. Just remember the Red Dragon. There's a story about the Red Dragon on Robb Street. Joint operation rescues 44 females or female foreigners at Red Dragon Nightclub. It's a strip club in Guyana. 44, and I know that strip club, Apostle. 44.
Wow.
Don't ask me why, but 44 female foreigners at Red Dragon rescued. What is your take on this here? They go there, jump up on a pole, ting wrong, wine wrong, little lap dance, but they get caught and they are currently in protective custody. Your take on this revelation?
Well, I'm looking at the term rescue, and I wonder whether they were rescued or they were arrested. Because if they had to be rescued, it means that they're being held there against their will. And that is a significant crime because that speaks to human trafficking. If they were arrested, it means they were there having a ball to be paid, and they were charged. Nonetheless, look at what our society is becoming daily. Our moral fabric is disintegrating. And we notice now that there are foreign nationals operating in our country, either illegally or otherwise, being here, and look at their conduct. This is troubling. It should be troubling for many people. Many wives should be holding their heads and hollering tonight. Well, now they should be happy the 44 females are gone, but This is going to turn our society in a direction we would not be able to deal with, because we have wealth floating on in our nation in the hands of some very, very dangerous people. And what they're doing to females is unacceptable. I would also dare say that in some political groups in this country, that behavior is being done in some nice mansions across the country by some elements in our nation. And they're not being caught, and females are being rescued from them. But they're bold enough to call names and say, but they have evidence and all kinds of people. But we know, and I know, that in certain political groups, this behavior and worse is being experienced in our country right now.
Well said. In closing, the treatment of folks, the treatment of Guyanese, lots of PPP supporters are bawling out, they're complaining, they want the PPP to go. But in closing, just talk to our people to offer them some sort of hope. Look at what happened in front of Freedom House. They called a few of their supporters, and then when the bulk of people got down there, you look mostly at the ethnicity of these people. They chased these people, get out of here, and then they try to blame the opposition for this. Your closing remarks, please, Apostle.
I appreciate it. I must go by first of all thanking you for affording me the opportunity to share with your audience and to be as candid as I would like to and honest as I should be. And to those, in reference to the image that you presented, it maintains within my mouth a very bad taste as to what is happening in our country. I maintain that Guyanese should not be subjected to that kind of lifestyle where you have to run to Freedom House or anywhere just to get $50,000 or $40,000 to feed your family. We are too wealthy to be in the gutter in reference to this kind of behavior. Let us all unite, therefore, with those who have the mind to do so, to rid ourselves of anyone, I'm not talking about people up to anybody who seeks to prevent us from enjoying the good life that we should as Guyanese people. We have to remove them from being around us, because we don't want that. We want to have as a people a tranquil environment, a healthy environment, and an environment that's conducive for the well-being of us all Guyanese. We must enjoy the wealth we now have. And we cannot do that with demonic beings leading us in the name of democracy and guardians thereof. It's not going to happen. So be strong, be vigilant. To the teachers, I say, I commend those of you who are out. Do not be discouraged. Be prepared to stand, not because Mark Wright or anybody calls you, but because you understand that your children and your generations will benefit from your struggle. Do well. And again, my brother, thank you so much. And thank you for being able to have me here beyond half an hour. You must be good at doing that one.
I notice your prime ministerial candidate, Theodore Adams, is on, watching you. Your prime ministerial candidate. Nigel, before we go, sir, please. We saw one of the commissioners made a statement today, not at a press conference, but just put out something on his Facebook page, Vincent Alexander. I just thought that they should have called a press conference with all three commissioners, opposition commissioners, Vincent Alexander, Charles Corbin, and Desmond Trotman. We shouldn't be relying or have one commissioner alone just put something on his Facebook page to talk about something we all know about. There should be constant press conferences with these three commissioners at GCOM. But what is your take, though? Having said all of that, what is your take with the list being heavily bloated to the what is it, about 120-something thousand? We have 750,000 people. It's always been that way since I was a little boy in the 1930s. Since I was a little boy, it was 750. My grandfather knew it as 750, and he died many years ago. My father knows it at 750. Well, he's still alive. I know it as 750. My kids know it as 750. But yet they're telling us now that the voters list at GCOM is 701,000 or something like that. Address that, please. I'll bring you in back for a couple of minutes. Address that issue, please.
Well, thank you. And I find it to be very important. I don't mind addressing that for sure, because this is very, very concerning to me as a guy who has an interest in good governance and what is called upright and proper. I believe that the three commissioners on the opposition side should indeed inform the public consistently. The opposition should not relax or relent in this matter, because this speaks to, in a few months, another electoral cycle being upon us. And the Carter Center, the OAS, and so many other entities would have agreed to one thing, that our issue in this country is with our voters list. The PPP would have been in office for 4 years, and they blatantly refused to do anything about a bloated voters list. Yet they want to have free and fair elections. It tells you, therefore, that the ones with the treasury under their control have no intention of spending our taxpayers' dollars to fix that which they know would remedy, to a great extent, the electoral demons that we face as a people. I would therefore like to encourage Mr. Alexander, Mr. Trotman, and Mr. Corbyn to gather as commissioners and sound a significant alarm to this nation and to the international groups and bodies that Guyana's administration is on the cusp of rigging potentially another election using the same list. And we have to call on Anil Nandalal. We have to call on all of them by name, Claudia Singh and others, to do something about this now, because 2025 is going to approach us shortly. And we have a list that none of us should be able to trust, including the OAS.
Well said. Thank you so much, Apostle Nigel. Eliakim, sorry.
Eliakim. That's right.
Yep, sorry about that. Eliakim. I'll get it. Eliakim. People have lots of other questions, but we've got to go. Somebody's laughing at me here, and you guys know when you guys laugh at me, I get worked up. Gloria Pot is saying, Mark does that all the time, Apostle, 30 minutes. Thank you so much, Gloria Pot. Thank you so much to all our listeners in and out of Guyana. But Apostle London, thank you so much, Apostle.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Please give my regards to your family. God bless you all. Thank you.
Bye.
Shalom. And to all of our listeners as well, we've got to go, really. We got to go. Not to the Red Dragon. We're 44. We don't know where these young ladies are from, whether they're young, they're middle-aged like me, or they're old. I don't know. But we caught one. I'm not sure if it's one of those 44 female foreigners. I don't know, but I think we caught up with one. And do forgive me for showing the photograph of one of them. Please do. I'm not sure. No, not this photograph, operator. This is not this photograph, but that's the guy from the Botanical Garden corner. Not that photograph, please. We don't want that. Rather, it's a nice night, and we want it to remain a nice night. But for now, my name is Mark Benshap. I gotta go. I'll see you guys same place, same time tomorrow. Go catch some rest, get your rest, watch the TV, drink a nice cup of tea, and relax for the rest of the night. God bless all of you. Sorry about not having Wayne Caesar on. Whatever it is, Wayne, we got you, bro. We got you on your internet. I don't know what's happening. But thank you all so much. God bless you. And thanks to our guest, Apostle Nigel, Gary Greenidge and the crew. All of you, Michelle Lowe, all of you. God bless you all. So long.
Yeah, my name is Jacinti Caldata Francis Vietnam, and since 1965 I become a voter, and I always place my X next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data. I have none.
Yeah, I didn't realize Rickford Burke is on, so you guys can head on over to Rickford Burke and let him know that we sent you guys all the way over to Rickford Burke. Go straight to Rickford Burke and listen to what he has to say. God bless you all. So long.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
With another one, straight up, blackness I am. Aye. Who tell the truth? Margaret stop, defend the ghetto youth. Margaret stop, registration is the fruit. Margaret stop, straight up from the root. Margaret stop, who tell the truth? Margaret stop, defend the ghetto youth. Margaret stop, registration is the fruit. Margaret stop, straight up from the root. Margaret stop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, and SCAP stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can need it, don't contact the cripple can walk. Who tell the truth? Margaret stop, defend the ghetto youth. Margaret stop, registration is the fruit. Margaret stop, straight up from the root.